Hey guys, how's it going? Professor Shuckle here, your coach of the Dark Cave Darkrise. Today I'll be going over our week 1 battle for the Hive Kakuna Season 8. Our opponents for the week are the Chicago Cup Chews and Coach Yodler. Um, yeah, so without much further ado, let's jump into the matchup. If you recall from a draft analysis, we have a draft of Mega Gallade, Clefable, Cinderace, Obstagoon, Registeel, Blastoise, Weezing, Rhyperior, Leafeon, Rotom Fan, and Kyurem. And our opponent has a roster of Mega Aerodactyl, Rotom Wash, Serperior, Goodra, Togekiss, Fortress, Victini, Gallade, Umbreon, Palswine, and Muk. So, just some initial thoughts on the matchup. Victini is an absolute monster to switch into. It could be physical or special or even mixed in this matchup because it just needs Grass Knot basically to hit the Rhyperior. And Weak Create is like super hard for me to switch into, especially because it gets Bolt Strike as well for the Blastoise, so it's like tough to pick a move. Tough to predict what he will go for, so it's kind of like 50-50s every turn. Yeah, Mega Aerodactyl also super annoying to switch into. Basically, does a lot of damage to everything on my team. Like, again, only Blastoise and Rhyperior can kind of switch into it, but everything else doesn't really appreciate Mega Aero. So that's annoying. Rotom Wash is actually super annoying as well because my ground type is 4 into weak to water type. And Pain, and a lot of my team has a very fat HP stat, so Pain Split's actually really annoying because it recovers health and chips down Kyurem, Registeel, Clefable, etc. So like that's a big problem as well. And like, yeah, then my mons with low HP don't like switching into Rotom, so that's annoying. Surf could be annoying as well with like Glare, Subseed, I guess, but kind of handled by neutralizing, yes, Weezing as well as Rotom Fan and Kyurem as well as Cinderace. So like, it may not come. Goodra can always come. Like, Assault Vest Goodra could be a decent check to Kyurem. Especially because Dragon Dance is kind of hard to pull off with Umbreon, Muk, and Fortress there. So, yeah, as for my side, Mega Gallade looks really good. Their only switch into Mega Gallade is Togekiss, which, if I get Rocks up and can knock off its boot, I can chip down pretty easily. Although it's kind of hard for me to deal with Togekiss, other than Kyurem, because it can have like T-Wave and stuff. So for sure, Togekiss is still annoying. Obstagoon is also pretty solid here, like both like a Scarf Reckless set or even the Facade Flame Orb set. Yeah, Cinderace is also pretty good here with its utility, and Clefable is just a solid Gloomon in general. So yeah, let's jump into the team and what I brought. So starting off, I brought Rhyperior with the Passion Berry, so we can live. So basically, this is to kind of help pivot into Aerodactyl. So we can take an Earthquake into Aqua Tail with the Passion Berry. So that's what the berry is for. Also, potentially, we could try to take out the Rotom, just in case. Like, yeah, if you have a Rocks up already, I can actually click Smackdown on the Rotom coming in and then click Earthquake and take it out in case it's like, you know, so that it can't defog anymore, or if it defogs, the Rotom is gone. So that's there for that. Yeah, anyway, it's super bulky, like, but I have enough attack to, what was the attack for? Was it to KO, like, I think it was to KO Victini with like 3 hits of Rock Blast. But yeah, it was just the Spadef was so that we live a Grass Knot from max special attack non-boosting Victini. Yeah, that was the Spadef and HP for, but we're running Stealth Rock, Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Smackdown. I just thought Stab was pretty good. I thought about Body Press, but it didn't actually do a lot to Umbreon. Earthquake did more. So, yeah, I just put, I was Stone Edge first over Rock Blast, but I didn't want to miss Stone Edge on a Rotom switch-in, because once I get Rocks up, the switch-in should be Rotom Wash. So yeah, and like Rock Blast, if I get 3 or 4 hits, was still like good enough damage. And I put Smackdown as like a prediction on the switch, because if I Smackdown and I still have a Passion Berry, I can Earthquake the Rotom. So basically, that was the idea behind the set. Rocks are kind of important, mostly to tell me, especially if he defogs right away, that would tell me the Victini is choiced or like not boots. But and like because if it's choiced, rocks will wear down the Victini super fast, or especially because after we create, it always has to switch out. So yeah, getting up rocks is kind of important. Next up, we have Cinderace with the heavy duty boots, and we're running like a pretty standard like Cinderace set, enough speed to outspeed Superior, and the rest in just in attack. Bulk is just a little bit bulky, but to take some hits a little better. We're running Sucker Punch, Pyro Ball, U-Turn, and Gunk Shot. U-Turn for momentum. Pyro Ball is mostly what we will be clicking. Like, it's a move of choice that only resists are like Rotom Wash, Gudra, and Mega Aerodactyl, and none of them appreciate it too much. Like, and the burn chance, and like, I could have High Jump Kick after, so yeah. Gunk Shot is for the Togekiss because it's kind of annoying, and Sucker Punch is just for a Victini that I know is locked, or for the Arrow, because Chip on Arrow is always good. Next up, we have Mega Gallade with yeah, enough speed for what's the speed for? Sorry, my laptop just hung for a bit. It's not moving, but anyway, enough speed for the Victini, that's right. Close combat, knockoff, Shadow Sneak, Ice Punch. The rest in just in attack, like standard Gallade, because as I said, it doesn't have a lot of switch-ins. Knockoff is what I'll be clicking early game, trying to get rid of Togekiss's item. Shadow Sneak is for the Victini, as well as to pick off a weakened Arrow. Or maybe even like Scarf Syrup or something. Scarf Victini, just to get the chip I need. Ice Punch is for the Togekiss, also hits Aerodactyl and Serperior, so I thought it was the best coverage to hit them. And yeah, I'm not running Psychic coverage, but I expect the Muck to switch out every time I go into this because expecting the Psychic coverage. So yeah, like, yeah, that's basically the idea behind this. A little weak to Muck without it, like, Muck's a pain to break, but oh well. Next up, we have Kyurem with heavy duty boots and super bulky. This is our dedicated lead actually. It lives a Stone Edge from Adamant, Mega Aerodactyl. I believe it lives up to 4-hit Rock Blast as well. It lives a Banded Weak Rate from Victini. Yeah, and basically lives any other super effective hit and gets off like other than Gudra, I guess, because yeah, Gudra could be Assault Vest, so I wouldn't want to take the damage, like, because Gudra can tank. But we're running Freeze Dry, which hits almost everything on his team, other than the Fortress and Umbreon and Muck, and I guess Passmind. So we have Toxic for those, and I don't mind getting the Toxic off on Umbreon and getting Toxic back in return, just because I have Aromatherapy on Clefable. And Earth Power is for the Muck and Victini, and Roost is just for longevity. Heavy Duty Boots, so we don't take rocks damage on entry. Enough speed for the Rotom Wash, I believe. I believe it's for the Rotom Wash, or maybe the Togekiss. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think like maybe it might be just be the Togekiss because Rotom Wash not doing anything to me. So yeah, super bulky, and it still does a good chunk of damage to Serperior, Togekiss, and Rotom Wash with Freeze Dry. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we have Obstagoon with Choice Scarf, Reckless. This is like, this can potentially win the game if you have enough chip on everything and Scarf Victini is gone. Because like, Obstagoon is really strong, and Double Edge with Reckless and Stab just hits really hard. So we're running like Max Attack Adamant, enough speed again, I guess, for the Togekiss, like Scarf Togekiss. Parting Shot, just like support initially. Ice Punch is for the Togekiss as well, which is probably the best switch in to Obstagoon. And then Knockoff is to get rid of items, like as usual, also pretty solid, and Stab. So yeah, that's the set for Obstagoon. And last we have Clefable with Leftovers. We're actually unaware because we didn't bring Weezing for Serperior, so I guess the boosting Serperior could have been a problem. So just to respect that bring, even though Serp was kind of bad versus me, we are bringing like defensive Clefables, Bedef to take on the Serp really well. Moonblast, Wish Protect, Aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is to keep the Kyurem healthy. Like, we don't want to have, like, we want to click Toxic and not worry about being Toxic back. So that's the idea behind that. Also to save like a Gallade getting burnt or something, or T-Wave spam from Togekiss. And Wish Protect just to keep us healthy. Wanted to fit Teleport in, but Aromatherapy was better. And yeah, I initially wanted to run an offensive Clef because I thought it was kind of good, but my friend Sky was like, no, you should worry about the Syrup. So yeah, this is basically a Syrup check just in case it comes. But yeah, as I said, Kyurem's going to be a dedicated lead, so let's jump into the match. As you can see, our opponent brought a team of Mega Aerodactyl, Victini, Togekiss, Umbreon, Muk, and Rotom Wash. First thing to note, they didn't bring a Rocker, so the Rocker can only be Aerodactyl, and if it is the Rocker, I will happily take it, because if it's Rocks, it's probably Rocks, Roost, and then 2 attacks. But like an offensive arrow is way more scarier, and if it's not running some coverage, it's kind of cool. Like it's a little easier to deal with, is what I would say. They also have like 3 months weak to Rocks, and Togekiss has to switch in on Gallade and Obstagoon, so if I can knock it off and get up my Rocks, it's actually pretty good, because it's solid chip versus 3 of his mons. Yeah, and it would help me know if the Victini is Scarf or Boots or Bandit, like whatever. Yeah, Umbreon, Muk, Togekiss, Rotom Wash actually looks kind of hard to break, like defensively, but maybe with Clefable and Kyurem, we hopefully shall be able to break it. But yeah, that's why Kyurem with pressure is kind of good this game. Anyway, as I said, I was going to lead Kyurem. They potential leads on their end are like Rotom, Victini, Aerodactyl, maybe even Togekiss. So yeah, as I said, my Kyurem eats any hit as they lead Rotom, so we get the matchup right. And I actually just fire off a Toxic right away because I know the Rotom's not going to stay in. If it wanted to trick me a Scarf, I would be fine with it. But yeah, I just fire off the Toxic I hit. They go Umbreon rather than Muk right away. So that's cool. And as Umbreon just gives me free Clefable, so I just click Aromatherapy as they go into Muk, which I expect. This gives me free Rhyperior though, so I just go hard into Rhyperior as they click Poison Jab and do no damage. And here I just decide to get up my Rocks and see what the response to it is, as they do go Rotom Wash. And I go Kyurem expecting either like Hydro, Wisp, or Defog, as they do Defog. But now my Kyurem's in, so I click Freeze Drive. And they stay in and take the damage, so that's good chip on the Rotom Wash. And now this means that this dies to Rock Blast from Rhyperior if I get 3 hits. Which is cool to know. But yeah, they go Victini. If this was like Scarf, V-Crit didn't kill, and if it was Banded, I think it was like a roll. But in my head, I was thinking this was Scarf, that's why they defogged. So I clicked Roost here, trying to see what the Victini goes for, and if he did go for V-Create right away, it gave me like a free Gallade right after. So I wasn't too, like losing Kyurem would have been bad at that point, but I felt like if I switched, I gave him momentum, which I had just gotten. So like, yeah, I stayed in, and now I click Earth Power because I know he clicked Grass Knot. Also, the Grass Knot damage showed he was actually no investment in special attack. So I was like, okay, he's physical and just has Grass Knot as coverage for the Rhyperior, so he should never kill my Rhyperior. So I have that as a switch next turn. But I click Earth Power now as he goes Muk and tanks that pretty well. And here I go back into Rhyperior as he clicks Poison Jab, and yeah. And this turn, I think I clicked... Oh, I clicked Rock Blast, expecting the Rotom Wash because he doesn't have another switch. I guess he could have gone Umbreon, but then I could have just set up Rocks on the Umbreon, so I didn't mind that too much. And I click Rock Blast here, and unfortunately for us, we don't get the 3 hits. As you can see, 2 hits did 22, like 11% each. So 3 hits would have taken out the Rotom Wash for sure. And because of how bulky I am, I actually would have gotten off my Rocks up on anything that came in. And yeah, that would have been a huge game changer, obviously, because of how he defogged Rocks away immediately. Victini is choice locked, probably. Aerodactyl will take 25% on Rock Sentry. And if Rotom is gone, their only Cinderace switch-in becomes Victini or Aerodactyl. And a Pyro Ball from Cinderace and after Rocks would be really, really cool. So, yeah, this is really unfortunate that we got just 2-hit Rock Blast. And, yeah, made me wish that I kind of went for Stone Edge. because Stone Edge would have killed this thing for sure. I guess I could have clicked Smackdown expecting, but I feel like if I click Smackdown, they wouldn't have stayed in at this point. So yeah, I'm like, it was a tricky play, but Rock Blast I thought just covered it because in my head 3-hit Rock Blast, which is what you usually expect, would have killed this thing. But yeah, I switch out. I guess I could have stayed in, and but here the Pain Split was really obvious, but I couldn't do much as I go into Cure Him and they get a fat amount of health back, which is really annoying. And yeah, I just click Roost this time, and yeah, and this time I decide to again Roost, trying to see what the Victini does as he clicks U-turn, and 24%. So he shows he's banded Victini, which makes like, so I don't have a switch to banded Victini, and yeah, that basically makes me wish that I got 3-hit Rock Blast, and because the Rotom was gone and I had Rocks Up, like I feel like, yeah, Rocks Up would have been huge. But anyways, he clicks U-turn and goes Umbreon, and I switch and go Rhyperior this time, thinking he would go for Wish or like Heal Bell. I expected a Wish, honestly, so I went Rhyperior hoping to get my Rocks Up, or like maybe go for Smackdown, but he clicks Toxic, which is fine because I can Aromatherapy up again. So I decided to get up Rocks this time. Oh, sorry, I just doubled back into Kyurem, expecting the Rotom, so I was like, okay, I have to start making plays because I let the Rotom get back up to full. So now I click Freeze Dry again, as he goes Victini, but as I said, I can just keep clicking Roost here, and as long as I'm at a full max health, the Victini cannot do anything to me. So yeah, I clicked the Earth Power this time, because if he recreated, I knew he was banded, so if he recreated, I think after the recreate he died. So that's why I clicked Earth Power as he went Muck, and that did a good amount of damage. As I switched this time expecting this Muck to be Restock, and he is. So I go into my Rhyperior and I double back immediately into Kyurem again on the Rotom coming in. Basically trying to keep getting momentum and clicking Freeze Dries. And I do as the Muck comes in. I decide to stay in and click Earth Power, like basically test my luck versus the Muck. He Sleep Talks, rolls Poison Jab, but doesn't poison me, luckily. And click Earth Power again, and unfortunately for my opponent, get a crit, which is kind of massive for sure. But yeah, like, it's not as game-changing as the Rock Blast. Although Rock Blast 2-hit is not really hacks, but I thought 3 hits was more common, actually. But 2 hits also pretty common, so not exactly hacks, but you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. You would expect 3, 4, or 5 to be rolled higher, which is true. But yeah. Anyway, that's really unfortunate for my opponent. But I believe I clicked Freeze Dry here. Yeah, I thought Freeze Dry was just freer, as he actually gets to go Victini. And I go Cinderace because I don't have a switch for this banded recreate. But I live, so I count that I lived, and I'm actually in Blaze range now, so I can fire off a super strong Powerball. As you can see, it does 63 to Arrow. And yeah, because he didn't have a switch in. He could have gone Rotom Wash, but even that would have taken like half, I think. So yeah, and even if he went Rotom Wash, I could have just U-turned back into like, yeah, I could have U-turned, or I could have High Jump Kick and taken it out. So I wasn't too worried about that. And yeah, here I Pyro Ball, and here I had choice. I could have gone into Rhyperior, and at that range I might have still lived an Earthquake into Aqua Tail, might have been a roll, or I could have obviously Sucker Punched here, which didn't kill, but it put it in Shadow Sneak range from Gallade. And but I thought he might Roost expecting a switch out, like, because if he roosted 87 and Pyro Ball would have done a little less than 60 because he would have gained bulk when he megas. So he would have been back at like a good half, 50 something % health. So and he could have seen if I was Scarf or not. Although, I mean, I guess if I was Scarf, he wouldn't even know, like he would have died anyway. So yeah, I decided to click Pyro Ball thinking he would Roost. So like, I think Sucker Punches are always like 50-50. So I clicked Pyro Ball, and in hindsight, like, maybe I should have clicked Sucker Punch because this would have put it in range of Shadow Sneak. But he clicks Earthquake, so my Cinderace is gone. And yeah, I could have maybe saved Cinderace, so I could have Blaze boosted Pyro Balls, like, versus, which is kind of nice, really, versus his team. And I guess it would have really worked if I after a Victini sack, if I just went Cinderace, because I would have gotten a kill then guaranteed, I think. Yeah, because he wouldn't have been able to switch in. So anyway, I go Obstagoon and I actually click Knock, expecting. Yeah, I didn't expect the arrow to stay in because I don't think arrow kills me anyway. Even like yeah, and basically this would tell him that I'm trying to get my Flame Orb off for Gut, but he sacks off Muck, and he goes Victini, and I was like, okay, does he not think I'm Scarf? So I was like, I'm just gonna click Knock because I don't have a switch for this Bandit Victini, but he switches out, I guess, scouting for Scarf. As he goes Rotom, here I just decide to knock off again, actually. Didn't expect this to have Wisp because it has shown Defog, Volt Switch, Pain Split, and I doubt it wanted to be walled by Rhyperior. So, and I knew it was going to click Volt Switch and I couldn't really do anything about it. So, yeah, I just stayed in, and that does no damage because Obstagoon is really bulky. And yeah, they go Togekiss, so I can go Rhyperior pretty freely. As they click Heal Bell, which is a little annoying because Umbreon's Toxic is gone, but yeah, I pulled a double into Kyurem again as they go Rotom Wash, and here I clicked Roost thinking they would save their Rotom because if Rhyperior gets up Rocks, they're kind of looking in a tough spot, but he calls me out on my safe play and makes an aggressive play and clicks Pain Split, which works out really nicely for him, and he makes another, like, okay, actually this one's a little safer because Freeze Dry didn't kill. So I clicked Roost again so I could get back to full where Victini wouldn't be able to kill me. And he clicks Volt Switch and actually goes Victini. I lived this, and I think it was a roll in my favor, but I decided not to risk it and go Rhyperior. And I believe if he got like a slightly lower roll, I would have lived 2. But he gets like a highish roll, and yeah, 2 of them take me out, unfortunately. So, which is a little unfortunate, but I can go into Gallade and get my knockoff here. As he goes Togekiss, which is fine. And I believe I go I go back into Kyurem expecting Air Slash, but he clicks Gleam and does a lot of damage. Yeah, like, that made sense. He should have gone for Gleam. I could have gone Clefable, I guess, but I could have flinched, or he could have Nasty Plotted aggressively. But I click Freeze Dry, as he does switch into Umbreon, and I Roost up. As he clicks Wish, which is fine. I click Toxic, I miss. He clicks Toxic, I miss. So that was a pretty funny turn. Doesn't really matter. Like, nothing changes that turn. And I click Toxic, and he clicks Toxic. Oh no, he clicked Foul Play because of the Synchronize. So I guess the only thing that would have changed is if I hit the Toxic, since he clicked Toxic, he basically wasted a turn. Whereas here he got free 23%. So I guess that Toxic miss was worse for me. Because I could have roosted this turn instead of clicking Toxic. But I go into Gallade now, as he clicks Wish, which is fine. And I double into Kyurem, expecting the Togekiss, as he does go into Togekiss. Because if I get a Freeze Dry off on this thing, I believe Gallade and Obstagoon win. And he knows that too. So he makes the switch into Umbreon, which is Pedaf and eats any hit. I click Roost here, as I believe he clicks Wish, yeah. And I believe I made the aggressive play and go straight into Gallade. Oh, I go into Obstagoon this time, thinking he would Foul Play, and I would be able to start clicking Double Edge, but he clicks Toxic, which is a good play by him. I thought he would click Foul Play because it would cover the Gallade, like, it would do more damage to Gallade. But yeah, I just switch into Clef now as the Rotom comes in, so I can click my Aromatherapy because this won't do anything to me. Yeah, I click Aromatherapy as the Victini comes in, and Victini is going to get a kill here now. I decided to keep Clefable because I thought it kind of dealt with 4 of the mons other than Victini, so I decided to sack off Kyurem here, which may have been a mistake. I guess I should have just sacked off Clef, but yeah, I click Knockoff here. Like, again, I was debating clicking, what do you say? Ice Punch, but I was like, I don't think he's going to save Victini because just in case I was SD, I could have won the game with Shadow Sneak. So I click Knock and get rid of the Victini, and in comes the Aerodactyl, and this is where Sucker Punch would have been so nice. Like if I click Sucker Punch with Cinderace, because Shadow Sneak would have picked this off. And then, basically, he would be forced to go into Togekiss, and because Gallade's bulky, I would be able to Ice Punch it as he clicks Gleam. and like to kill me, he would have to take 2 ice punches basically, which works out really nicely for me because then Obstagoon would win with Scarf Double Edge, and so would Clefable. So yeah, I go into Clefable as he clicks Dual Wing Beat, which I kind of forgot was legal because this is not Hive plays with the leaked DLC, so like Scared Shot, Garchomp, and stuff are legal, and I kind of forgot this got Dual Wing Beat, so that's cool. Because I think I kind of EV'd, like I might have thought no investment Aerialist would have, maybe Gallade could have lived, but then Dual Wing Beat, no chance. Yeah, so he hits, and then I was like, oh, Clefable is like 2 KO'd, which is what happens. But I go into Obstagoon, and Double Edge should pick this off, so I click Double Edge, as he gives me Rotom Wash, which is, yeah, because he needs the Aerodactyl for the Gallade. In comes Umbreon as I go hard Gallade because I can live 1 foul play. Yep, and yeah, here I just click CC because if he goes Togekiss and I click Ice Punch, I could potentially win with Obstagoon. So yeah, in comes the Aerodactyl. I just click Sneak, just showing it off. Yeah, like with the Sucker Punch damage easily, this thing would have been gone. I go Obstagoon and I decide to click Ice Punch because basically my best chance of winning now was to get a freeze. If I had gotten an Ice Punch off with Gallade, I maybe could have won with Reckless Double Edge, but at this point I had to hope for a freeze on the Togekiss because as you see, Ice Punch does like no damage. It's like a 4-hit KO. So yeah, but if Gallade does like 40 something to this, so then I would have had a shot at beating it, but yeah, I don't get the freeze, and he clicks Gleam and gets the KO and picks up the win. Really good game, I think. Like, it was close on both ends for sure, and he played really, really well. He called me out on my safe play with Kyurem twice with Rotom Wash. He used his Victini really well to break. We talked a little bit after, and he did say that if I got 3-hit Rock Blast and his Rotom was gone, and then, because then, if the Rotom's gone, I get up my rocks 100%. He, Grass Knot didn't kill me from Victini. Aerodactyl didn't kill me. He could have been Taunt, but I could have wished back Rhyperior back up too on the Muck. Yeah, so I would have gotten up my rocks up, and then Victini and Aerodactyl would be like super pressured the whole game. And because Togekiss had to come in on Gallade, it would get knocked, and then it would also take like 25% from rocks. So, yeah, definitely rock. Like if I got 3-hit Rock Blast, I believe we would have won. Yeah, because of all the priority and stuff we had. But yeah, we didn't get Rock Blast, and that's fine. And I obviously Chris Muck and made it useless the whole game, and like Muck was really good for sure. Did give me a free Rhyperior, but it was still like really good, I would say. But yeah, that was a week 1 game. I thought it was really fun. Like the issues with our team for sure, but like also we do have like a lot of power and fat, so that was really good. Good match for sure. Yeah, I would say like the matchup was like a little hard for us because like as I said, I like to play a little more defensively, and this defensive matchup was awful. So yeah, yeah, I'll be back next week with our week 2 game, where we have a slightly better matchup because they only have one Mega Gallade switch in, so that'll be fun. Hopefully it will be fun. But yeah, also I'm really close to 50 subs, so as I say, if you watch my content and you haven't subbed, please go ahead and sub. It's free, and I would really appreciate it if you do, because reaching 50 would be super awesome. Yeah, love you all. Like any feedback and stuff is always appreciated. All the support is appreciated. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Bye, and I'll see you next week.